Hello, fifth graders, and welcome to your math lesson for today. Today you will need your paper, pencil, and your math resource binder for the notes that are in it. Our objective for today is going to be practicing with pie charts. We've already kind of talked about, we've talked about pie charts over the last several math lessons, and so we're going to try to just do a little bit more practice as we are transitioning towards eventually our DDI next week. So I've attached this in-class practice for today. These are the problems that we're going to be working on together. You do not need to print it out. You can just get it on any piece of paper and work along with me. I will be showing the problems to you. So really all you need to do for today is follow along with the lesson, and we'll be kind of talking through and working through these problems. And then the problems that we work through today in class are going to be very similar to the problems that are attached for homework. Okay, so I'm going to flip you around, and I actually realize now that my directions on here are misleading. Do not pay attention to these directions because we're going to be working together. So again, as usual, you can just keep this paper and be working along with me as we go. So the pie chart shows the students' favorite colors. So remember what we've been practicing in our lessons. We're looking at these pie charts and making some observations. We're thinking like, are there straight lines? If so, what does that mean? Are there right angles? If so, what does that mean? You might be anticipating some of the questions that might be asked about this pie chart. And after we've made a couple observations, we can go in and start answering. So one of the things that I've been noticing in the homework up to this point is that sometimes we are giving a percentage when a fraction has been asked for, or a fraction when a percentage has been asked for. So it's just a good idea to double check and make sure you understand or are reading carefully to know which one you're looking for. So our first question here, question A, says, what percentage of the students chose blue? I would like you to write down your answer. So we see this straight line here, and remember that a straight line means 50%, right? It is half of the pie chart. So the correct answer for A should be 50%. What percentage of the students chose green is question B. So this is a little bit more tricky. We have to do a little bit more work. But remember, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of this pie chart. So I know that I would be adding together these 4 percentages. And when we add the whole thing together, we know that a pie chart should add up to 100%. And so our hope is that we know 3 of them, which allows us to find the 4th one. At quick glance, we'd say, well, we don't know 3 of the percentages, but we have to remember what we do know about pie charts. So first of all, part A, we already said what the blue is. Red has been given to us. Pink maybe doesn't seem known, but it is. Yeah, that right angle, right? We should be thinking that it is 25%. And then green is our unknown, which is what we're supposed to be answering for this problem. So go ahead at this point and pause, and then come on back and see how you did. So I see this 50 and 25 right away, and I put those together because 25 and 50, it's like coins. So that's 75% plus 15%. When we add those together, we should get 90%. So 90% plus what equals 100% is our question for this problem. So hopefully we're feeling pretty good about our answer of 10%. So the percentage of students who chose green is 10%. And again, maybe at first glance this doesn't seem like we can do it, but remember, you have to kind of use the clues, the cues that we've gotten and the notes that we've taken about pie charts to help. Okay, C says if 14 students chose pink, how many students are in the entire group? So I want to think about this like a unit bar. And again, you don't have to draw the unit bar, but I do think it really helps us to think about how to solve this problem, okay? So the question is about our pink students. So if we look at this pink section, we should notice that right angle. What does a right angle mean in terms of fractions? Yeah, 1/4. So that means 1/4 of our students chose pink. So what do we want to divide our unit bar into? Into fourths, right? We know that 1/4 of the students chose pink, so one of these is pink, but we also are told here 14 students chose pink. So where are we going to add that in our unit bar? 14 chose pink. And then our question is, how many students are there in the entire group? So we're trying to figure out the whole thing. So now looking at the problem, we should be able to figure out this answer. What problem are you going to solve in order to find this answer? We have a known amount of 14. How many times do we have that 14? 4 times. So we're going to multiply 14 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5. So how many students are in the entire group? 56 is our answer here. So we have to remember, right? And again, you maybe are able to think that through without a unit bar, but I really wanted to show you with the unit bar that that's how we're going to find the answer, right? If we know what 1/4 of the students are, then we should be able to figure out what all of the students are. All right, let's try 2. A group of students were asked to name their favorite season. The pie chart represents their choices. So we see winter, summer, spring, and fall. And of course, we're trying to make the observations that we can. Do we see a straight line? Do we see a right angle? And remember, if it's a right angle, the picture should show that. We shouldn't just say that it looks kind of like it could be a right angle. We're going to be looking for proof, right? Is there proof in the picture that it's a right angle? So no, but there is a straight line. Okay, so question A is asking what percentage of the students liked winter? I would like you to pause and try to figure this out on your own, 5th graders, based on what we've been practicing and what we've been kind of thinking about in advance. So go ahead, give it a try, and then come on back and see how you did. So as before, we have 4 chunks or 4 slices of the pie, and we know that the whole thing should add up to 100%. So now we want to fill in with our known percentages. So fall, we're told, is 12%. Spring, we're told, is 18%. And then it looks like we have 2 unknowns, except for we want to remember that summer is a straight line, and that tells us that it makes up 50%. So this is what we're considering. We're trying to find our unknown here. So you should have then added all of these together, and when you did so, you should have gotten a total of 80. Our known slices are 80. All together, it should equal 100%. So what is our unknown here? What is winter? 20%. 20% of the students liked winter. Okay. What fraction of the students liked spring? So you might think, well, we don't know how many students there are, so how does this work? Okay. But really, we know that spring is 18%. And so we want to think about how we've been converting fractions and decimals and percentages. We've been doing this for the last week or so. Also remembering, of course, what is true about this word, this term, percent, and we've linked it to our Latin, the Latin word for 100. So percent means out of 100. So 18% expressed as a fraction is 18 over 100, or 18 100ths. However, always with fractions, we ask ourselves, can it be made proper? Can it be simplified? So I would like you to pause and come back when you have your final total fraction. All right, fifth graders, we should have seen that these are both divisible by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So our final answer is 9/50ths. I'm actually going to pause and do like a B2 here, a second B. I would like you to do the same thing, but with fall. What fraction of the students liked fall? I want you to pause, try this on your own, and then come on back and see how you did. So same process, right? If we know that fall is 12%, fifth graders, we should have turned this into 12 over 100, which when simplified is 6/50ths. How did we do with that with your second attempt at it? Hopefully it went okay. Okay, question C. If 22 students liked summer, find the total number of students in the group. I'm going to give a little bit of talking about this problem, fifth graders, but ultimately I'm going to ask you to solve it on your own. So we want to look at summer and think about what we know, what fraction of the students chose summer. So that fraction of the students is 22 of them. How can you put that information together to find the total number of students in the group? I'd like you to pause, see if you can do this answer, and then come on back and see how you did. So again, I'm going to show this as a unit bar. You very well could have seen that and said, I don't even have to write anything out, which is just fine, right? We're talking about students and we're talking about summer. This straight line tells us that half of the students liked summer. So we would want to divide these in half, okay? Then we're told 22 of them liked summer, and we're finding the total number. So we have 22 2 times, which is another way of saying 22 times 2, which is 44. How did that go? Hopefully you felt pretty confident about it. All right, we are going to go through one more together. Feeling a little crooked today for some reason. Okay, so you'll notice I added this. If you printed this or are looking on the document that's attached, I've added this amount of 25 here in order to make this problem workable. So, a group of students were asked to choose their favorite flavor of ice cream. The pie chart represents their choices. So, again, we're kind of looking at this pie chart and determining what we can about it. What can we conclude based on what we're seeing right off the bat? Okay. In addition, just note that this is 15 people, 25 people, not percent. This is the number of people who chose that. Okay. So hopefully you're noticing like straight lines, right angles, things like that. You're thinking about fractions. Okay. So question A, 3A asks, how many students chose chocolate? So we want to think about a lot of things, but cherry really can help us. And again, I'm going to think about a unit bar. So we know chocolate has a straight line. So that's going to be half of this unit bar, right? We know that a straight line is half of the unit bar. We also know that this right angle is 1/4. So 1/4 is going to be cherry. And remember, of course, we want to keep our box sizes the same size. This is really helpful for us. And then this remaining amount, which we can't really be sure at the moment how much of it is. Is it an eighth? Is it something else? We don't know. But we know that the remaining fourth has to be vanilla and mint together. Now we should have enough information because what do we know about the number of people who like cherry? Yeah, 25 of them like cherry. And just like with any unit bar, if one of these chunks is 25, then all of these chunks are 25, I should say. So now, how many students chose chocolate? We have enough information. So if 1/4 of them is 25, then we can figure out what half of them is. What is it? Yeah, we should have 50 students who chose chocolate. 50 of them chose chocolate. Okay, and this is how we figured that out. You'll see a problem like this in your homework. So it's a good idea to kind of have a feel for how you're going to do this. Okay. Now we're asking what percent of the students chose mint. What percent of the students chose mint? Okay. Again, this might seem a little bit tricky, but we're going to apply this information. So we found that 50 students chose chocolate, which is half of the students. If 50 is half of the students, what's all of the students? I'm going to say that again. If 50 makes up half of the students, what is the total number of students? What's all of them? 100. How many of those students chose mint? 15. In other words, 15 out of 100 students chose mint. We should, fifth graders, if you've been doing our practice up to this point, be able to turn this fraction into a percentage pretty easily. 15 over 100 equals what percent? 15%. That's what percent means, right? Percent means out of 100. Excellent. Okay, how many students chose vanilla? So again, I'm just putting this out in terms of a unit bar. We know the total number of students, right? What is the total number of students? We just figured it out here. It's 100. So 100 is our total number of students. We know that 50 of them from problem A like chocolate. We know that 25 of them, I should label this, from the pie chart like cherry. We know that 15 of them like mint. And so now we need to figure out how many like vanilla. So we have 3 knowns and a total. And we want to find our unknown. So go ahead and pause, fifth graders. Come on back and see how you did. So remember, we're essentially looking at, well, we want to add all of these together. So when you added them all together, you should have gotten 90, which means how many more are going to make 100? 10 more. So 10 is our answer. And look at that. How many students are there in the group? We've already figured it out, right? How many students? 100. Okay, so fifth graders, your homework assignment is going to be similar to what we just worked on. Okay, you're going to follow the same kind of clues and hints and logicking to find your correct answer to it. As always, if you just work through that practice and you're feeling a little uncertain, a little shaky, come to office hours. We can certainly work through that with you, okay? But once you feel ready, you're going to go on and you're going to complete those homework problems and submit a picture of your work. And again, work on it at any, you don't have to print it out. You can work on any piece of paper, okay? Let us know if you have any questions, fifth graders. Good luck.